Be me. 40, police lieutenant at precinct in Phoenix, Arizona. Salary $118,000. Been with Phoenix PD for 16 years. Started as patrol officer, worked my way up through ranks. Beat cop for 5 years, detective for 6 years, sergeant for 3 years. Made lieutenant 2 years ago, youngest woman to reach this rank in department. Command Estrella Mountain Precinct, covers West Phoenix area. Population about 280,000, mix of residential, commercial, industrial. Precinct has 145 sworn officers. Patrol, detectives, special units, administrative, plus 32 civilian staff, dispatchers, records clerks, crime analysts. Report to captain who oversees 3 precincts. He's hands-off, trusts his lieutenants. My responsibility is staffing, assignments, promotions, discipline, operational oversight. When I took over as lieutenant, precinct was typical police demographics. Officers were 82% male, supervisory positions even more skewed. 14 sergeants total, 12 were men, only 2 were women. 6 detective positions, all men, been that way for years. This bothered me from day one. Women were stuck in patrol, never getting opportunities for advancement or specialized assignments. Classic old boys network, men promoting men, keeping women out. I experienced this myself coming up, had to work twice as hard. Male officers with less experience getting detective assignments. Men with weaker records making sergeant before qualified women. Now I'm lieutenant. I control promotions and assignments in my precinct. This is my chance to level the playing field, create opportunities. First 6 months, I observe, document, build my understanding. Notice patterns in how assignments are distributed by shift sergeants. Women officers consistently get routine calls, traffic stops, minor incidents. Men get the interesting calls, major crimes, investigations, career-building work. Not always intentional, just unconscious bias in how work is distributed. Start mandating rotation systems. Ensure women get high-profile assignments. Some sergeants push back. Officer Rodriguez isn't ready for armed robbery calls. How will she get ready if she never gets the opportunity? By doing more years on patrol, building experience gradually. Men don't wait years. They get opportunities earlier. Same should apply to women. Month 8, detective position opens, robbery/burglary unit. This is coveted assignment, good cases, professional development, path to advancement. 4 officers apply internally. Standard process is merit-based selection. 3 male applicants. Officer Mike Torres, 12 years experience, 8 years patrol, for years as training officer. Officer James Williams, 10 years experience, led several major investigations, excellent arrest record. Officer David Kim, 9 years experience, specialized training in property crimes, high clearance rates. 1 female applicant. Officer Sarah Chun, 5 years experience, solid patrol work, enthusiastic. Traditional selection would pick Torres or Williams, most experienced, proven track records. But that's how we got to 100% male detectives in first place. I interview all 4, focus on potential and fresh perspective. Male officers talk about their cases, their experience, their proven methods. Sarah talks about bringing new approaches, community engagement, different viewpoint. I select Sarah, announce it in staff meeting. Torres is visibly disappointed, been waiting for detective spot for 3 years. Can I get feedback on why I wasn't selected? Sarah brings perspective and potential that will benefit the unit. I have 12 years experience and led the burglary task force last year. Experience isn't the only factor. We need diverse approaches to investigations. He accepts it professionally, but I can see the frustration. Month 12, sergeant position opens, patrol supervisor role. This is first-line supervisor position, critical for department operations. 6 applicants, 5 men with 8 to 15 years experience, 1 woman with 4 years. The woman, Officer Jennifer Martinez, is capable, good evaluations, well-liked. The men have more experience, several have supervised training programs informally. One guy, Officer Robert Jackson, has 14 years, served in military, natural leader. Everyone expects Jackson to get it. He's been grooming himself for this role. I select Martinez. She's qualified and we need more female sergeants. Jackson requests meeting. He's professional but clearly upset. Lieutenant, I've been preparing for sergeant for 3 years. I've mentored rookies, led training programs, taken leadership courses. What do I need to do to be competitive for promotion? This is difficult conversation. He's done everything right by traditional standards. Robert, you're a valued officer, but we're focusing on diversifying leadership. So I'm being passed over because I'm a man. You're being passed over because we have organizational equity goals. That's the same thing. You're saying my gender is a disqualification. I'm saying other factors are being weighted in promotion decisions. He leaves frustrated. I document the conversation in case he complains. Month 15, another detective position opens, homicide unit. This is the most prestigious assignment. Major crimes, high-profile cases. 5 applicants, for men with extensive experience, including Torres and Williams again. 1 woman, Officer Lisa Park, 6 years experience, works sex crimes unit. The male candidates are heavy hitters, decades of combined investigative experience. Williams has solved 18 homicides, working overtime on major cases for years. Torres has gang unit experience, knows the streets, has informant networks. But homicide unit is currently 6 detectives, all male. I need to change that. Select Lisa Park. She's smart and motivated, even if less experienced. Williams doesn't even ask for feedback, just looks at me during announcement. His expression says everything. He knows what's happening. He's done trying. Month 18, 3rd sergeant position opens. I'm really building momentum. This time it's for detective supervisor, oversees investigative units. This is senior position, requires managing detectives, complex casework, command presence. 4 applicants. 3 male sergeants with 6 to 10 years supervisory experience. 1 female patrol officer. Monica Davis, 7 years on the force, no supervisory experience. The male sergeants are proven leaders. They run their shifts efficiently. Sergeant Tom Wilson has supervised for 8 years, mentored dozens of officers. Monica has never supervised anyone. She's a line patrol officer. But she's sharp, articulate, and we need women in detective supervision. I promote her to sergeant and assign her to oversee detectives. This is controversial. Even among female officers, it's too big a leap. Patrol sergeants with years of experience are now being supervised by someone with no experience. Monica is overwhelmed. The detectives don't respect her. They go around her. She's making decisions without understanding investigation protocols. Cases are getting mishandled, evidence chain issues, coordination problems. Month 20, first major incident, homicide investigation goes wrong. Double murder, gang-related, complex case with multiple witnesses. Lisa Park catches it as lead detective. It's her first homicide case. She's working hard, but missing things, not following up on leads systematically. Williams offers to help. He solved similar cases before, knows the gang dynamics. Sergeant Monica Davis, her supervisor, tells him to let Lisa handle it. She needs to learn. She'll figure it out. This is double homicide, not training exercise. We need to solve it. Are you saying she can't handle it because she's a woman? I'm saying she's new to homicide and could use guidance from experienced detective. Monica shuts it down. Lisa continues alone. Case goes cold after 3 months. No arrests, no leads. Families are devastated. Community is angry. This reflects badly on the precinct. Our clearance rate drops. Month 22, second major incident, armed robbery series. String of convenience store robberies. Suspect is armed and escalating. Sarah Chun catches the case. She's been detective for 14 months now. She's working it methodically, but suspect hits 3 more stores while she investigates. Torres, who has robbery expertise, offers to assist or collaborate. Sarah declines, says she has it under control, doesn't need help. Suspect hits 5th store, this time shoots clerk who resisted. Clerk survives, but case is now aggravated assault. Media is covering it heavily. Public is questioning why we haven't caught this guy after 5 robberies. Sarah isn't over her head, doesn't have experience to handle serial armed robbery. Finally requests help. Torres joins the case, catches the suspect within a week. But damage is done. Someone was shot. Community trust is eroded. Month 24, the audit happens. Routine inspection by State Police Standards Board. They review precinct operations every 3 years, check compliance with standards. Look at clearance rates, response times, training compliance, administrative practices. Also review personnel decisions, promotions, assignments, disciplinary actions. Audit team spends 2 weeks at precinct, interviewing staff, reviewing files. I'm confident we're running a good operation, some bumps, but overall solid. Month 25, audit results come back. They're devastating. Overall rating is needs improvement, with several deficiencies requiring correction. Major finding number 1. Clearance rates declined 23% over 2-year period. Homicide clearance down from 71% to 54%. Robbery clearance down from 58% to 41%. Major finding number 2. Investigative effectiveness compromised by inexperienced assignments. Detectives assigned to major cases without adequate training or experience. They specifically cite the unsolved double homicide and the robbery series. Major finding number 3. Supervisory structure shows experience gaps. Supervisors promoted without requisite experience managing personnel or operations. They note Sergeant Monica Davis supervising detectives with 0 prior supervisory experience. Major finding number 4. Promotion practices show pattern inconsistent with merit principles. Multiple instances where less experienced personnel promoted over more qualified candidates. They pulled promotion records, compared qualifications of those promoted versus passed over. Found systematic pattern of women with less experience promoted over men with more. In every single promotion I made, selected candidate had less experience than runner-up. Audit recommends immediate review of promotion criteria and selection processes. Also recommends reassignment of personnel to positions commensurate with experience levels. The report is submitted to Captain. He calls me in for meeting. His face is serious, more serious than I've ever seen. This audit is damning. They're questioning your judgment and the precinct's effectiveness. We've had some challenges, but we're addressing them. Clearance rates down 23%. That's not a challenge. That's a crisis. Detectives solving fewer cases because they lack experience. Supervisors unable to manage because they were promoted too soon. All of this traces back to your promotion decisions. He's got the promotion file spread out, every decision I made. Sarah Chun, 5 years experience, promoted over Mike Torres with 12 years. Lisa Park, 6 years experience, promoted over James Williams with 10 years. Monica Davis, 7 years with no supervisory experience, promoted over Tom Wilson with 8 years supervising. In every case, you selected less experienced woman over more experienced man. He's not wrong. The pattern is obvious when laid out. I was creating opportunities for women in a male-dominated environment. By putting people in positions they weren't ready for, and crime victims paid the price. That hits hard. Crime victims, people who got hurt because I promoted wrong people. What about the clerk who got shot during the robbery series? Sarah Chun was in over her head. Torres could have caught him sooner. You don't know that for certain. Torres caught him in 1 week once he was on the case. Sarah had him for 2 months. Can't argue with that. The timeline speaks for itself. What about the double homicide families still waiting for justice? Lisa Park was learning on their case. Williams has solved 18 homicides. But Lisa brings fresh perspective that might have helped. The case is unsolved. Her fresh perspective didn't solve it. Experience might have. Captain pulls out more data. Community complaint statistics. Citizen complaints about investigation quality up 34%. Officer morale surveys show lowest scores in 5 years. Experienced officers requesting transfers to other precincts at record rates. He shows me transfer requests. Torres requested transfer last month. So did Williams, so did Jackson, so did Wilson, all the experienced men I passed over. They're leaving because they see no future here under my leadership. You've created an environment where experience doesn't matter, only demographics. Male officers with decades of expertise see no path forward. Female officers are promoted before they're ready and struggle in their assignments. Everyone loses in this system you built. Week later, called to meeting with captain and deputy chief. Deputy chief is direct, no small talk. The audit results require action. We're making command changes. You're being reassigned to administrative duties, effective immediately. Someone else will take over as precinct lieutenant. I'm being demoted, not in rank but in assignment, sidelined. This is retaliation for promoting women. This is consequence of promoting unqualified people who couldn't perform. They were qualified, they met minimum requirements. Minimum requirements aren't sufficient for detective or sergeant positions. Those roles need experience, judgment, skills that come from years on the job. You prioritize gender over readiness, and people are suffering for it. Deputy Chief continues, we're also reassigning some of the promotions you made. Sergeant Davis is being moved back to patrol. She's not ready for detective supervision. Detective Park is being moved to property crimes, not ready for homicide. We're bringing in experienced personnel to stabilize the precinct. They're undoing my work, erasing 2 years of equity progress. You're punishing women for my decisions. We're placing people in positions they can actually succeed in. Davis will be a good sergeant eventually, but she needs patrol experience first. Park will be a good detective, but she needs to handle simpler cases before homicides. Within 2 weeks, I'm reassigned to training division, administrative role. No command authority, no promotion decisions, just curriculum development. My salary stays at $118,000, but it's a career dead end. Everyone knows it. Torres and Williams both withdraw transfer requests when new lieutenant arrives. New lieutenant is experienced guy from another precinct, 24 years on force. His first moves are telling. Promotes Jackson to sergeant, moves Torres to homicide. Both should have been promoted 2 years ago. Now, they finally get opportunities. Within 6 months, precinct performance improves dramatically. Homicide clearance back up to 68%, robbery clearance to 55%. The experienced detectives and supervisors solve cases that were languishing. Double homicide from Lisa's case? Williams and Torres solve it within 2 months. They had the experience to know which leads to follow, which witnesses to pressure. Arrested 2 gang members, both convicted. Families finally get justice. 2 years after my demotion, I'm 42, still in training division. Same salary, but no path forward, no chance of promotion, career has plateaued. Watch's precinct I used to command continues to improve. Jackson is now lieutenant. Torres is sergeant detective supervisor, both excelling. They're mentoring younger officers, including women, building their skills properly. Sarah Chun requested move back to patrol for more experience. She's thriving. Learning fundamentals she missed by being promoted too fast, grateful for reset. Monica Davis is patrol sergeant now, doing well, comfortable with experience level. She told someone she felt set up to fail before, put in position she wasn't ready for. Lisa Park moved to robbery/burglary, solving cases, building confidence. Getting the experience she needs before she takes on homicides again. All the women I promoted are doing better now that they're in appropriate positions. Not because they're less capable, but because they're gaining skills methodically. 3 years after demotion, run into Robert Jackson at police memorial event. He's in lieutenant uniform now, commanding the precinct I used to lead. We make eye contact. It's awkward. Haven't spoken since I passed him over. He approaches, surprisingly friendly. Hey, Lieutenant, how's training division? It's fine. Curriculum work is important. How's the precinct? Really good. We're exceeding targets on clearance rates and response times. That's great. Glad to hear it. Awkward silence. Then he says something I'm not expecting. I don't think you had bad intentions with the promotions. I think you wanted to help women advance. That's a good goal. This is generous. More generous than I deserve. But the way I went about it was wrong. Yeah, you promoted people before they were ready and put them in positions to fail. Sarah, Lisa, Monica, they're all good officers, but they needed more time. You wanted results so fast that you skipped the development part. He's right. I wanted immediate transformation instead of sustainable progress. The women officers needed mentorship and experience, not just promotions. They needed to build skills, get training, learn from veterans. Instead, you just moved them up and hoped they'd figure it out. He's describing exactly what I did wrong. You also demoralized experienced officers by telling them their experience didn't matter. Torres and Williams spent years developing expertise, then got passed over. Jackson, Williams, myself, we all considered leaving because we saw no future. You created a system where experience was a disadvantage if you were male. Every word lands. Every word is accurate. I'm sorry. I thought I was correcting inequality. You were creating different inequality, just in the opposite direction. We should promote based on readiness, not on fixing ratios. Some years might be more men, some years more women. Depends who's ready. He walks back to his unit, commanding the precinct, respected by his officers. I go back to training division, developing curricula irrelevant to operations. 4 years after demotion, I'm 44, still making $118,000 in training. Eligible for retirement in 6 years. We'll probably just wait it out. Won't make captain, won't make deputy chief. Career peaked at lieutenant. And even that ended badly, removed from command due to failed leadership. Think about those 2 years when I had power over promotions. How I used it to advance women regardless of readiness. Convince myself I was creating opportunities, breaking barriers, helping, really just setting them up for failure and creating resentment. Sarah Chun struggling with robbery cases she wasn't ready for. Lisa Park with unsolved homicide that haunted her confidence. Monica Davis overwhelmed supervising detectives when she'd never supervised anyone. I hurt them by promoting them too soon, hurt victims by putting inexperienced people on cases, hurt the experienced officers by telling them their expertise didn't matter, all in pursuit of gender equity that ignored individual readiness. Now the precinct thrives under Jackson's leadership. He promotes based on merit and readiness, mentors everyone regardless of gender. Women are advancing, but at appropriate pace, building skills before promotion. Men are being recognized for their experience and expertise. Everyone is better for it. Cases are being solved. Community is safer. That's what good leadership looks like, what I failed to provide. 5 years after demotion, see article about Phoenix PD's promotion practices. Merit-based advancement creates diverse leadership through proper development. Features story about Officer Sarah Chun making sergeant. After returning to patrol for skill development, now she's ready for promotion. Jackson promoted her after she demonstrated supervisory capability. She talks about the importance of being ready for leadership. I was promoted to detective before I was ready. It was hard. I needed more experience and training first. Now I feel prepared for sergeant because I've built the foundation. She's not blaming me directly, but implication is clear. Her first promotion was mistake. Her second one is earned. Article shows Phoenix PD now has 28% female supervisors, up from 14% when I started. But they got there through proper development, mentorship, readiness assessment, not through my shortcut of promoting unprepared people to fix ratios. Their method is slower but sustainable, builds actual capability. My method was faster but destructive, created failures and resentment. Now I'm here, 45, in training division, counting days to retirement. While Jackson leads, Torres supervises, Chun makes sergeant, all thriving. The people I passed over are now leading the precinct successfully. The people I promoted prematurely are now advancing properly. And I'm sidelined, a cautionary tale about good intentions poorly executed, about prioritizing demographics over readiness, about promoting people before they're prepared, and watching them struggle, watching clearance rates fall, watching crime victims wait for justice because detective was learning on their case. That's my legacy. That's what the audit found. That's why I was removed. Not because I promoted women, but because I promoted unprepared people who couldn't perform in positions they weren't ready for, while passing over qualified people whose experience could have helped. Now I understand what Jackson meant about good intentions. I wanted to help, wanted to create opportunities, wanted to break barriers. But help requires preparing people for success, not just giving them titles. Opportunities require ensuring readiness, not just fixing gender ratios. Breaking barriers requires building capability, not just making promotions. I did none of that preparation, just made promotions and hoped. And hope isn't leadership. Hope isn't development. Hope isn't enough. That's what I learned too late, after audit failed the precinct. After I was demoted, after experienced officers almost left. After women I promoted struggled in positions they weren't ready for. That's what cost me my command, my career trajectory, my reputation. Now, I write training curricula in administrative building, while Jackson commands the precinct I used to lead. With experienced supervisors I used to pass over. Mentoring officers I used to promote prematurely. Doing leadership right the way I should have, but didn't because I thought fixing numbers mattered more than building capability, developing talent, ensuring readiness. That was my mistake, my expensive mistake. That cost crime victims justice, cost officers opportunities, cost the precinct effectiveness, cost me my command. All in pursuit of equity that ignored individual preparation and called it progress when really it was just failure. Disguised in demographic statistics that looked good until people actually had to do the jobs and couldn't because I promoted them before they were ready. That's what I live with now at 45 in training division. Former lieutenant who promoted wrong people for right reasons and learned that good intentions without good judgment still result in bad outcomes, failed audits, lost commands, and careers that end in administrative assignments. Counting days to retirement, writing curricula, while the precinct moves forward without me. Better, safer, more effective than it ever was under my command.